All right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming still yet this morning, but much later with another short message. And I don't know what I'm going to title this message as of yet, being so I'm going to talk about a lot of things, and not so much as a lot of things, because I'm planning on making this short and sweet. All right. And it might be short and bitter to some, but I like to call it short and sweet. Okay. Um, I do know that I sit back and I thought about some things yesterday about how you got so many voices in the land. You got a lot of voices in the land, and I believe a lot of people here can hear these voices that's in the land. But I realize these voices is not uh, targeting or giving a word of spirit and truth. I notice the voices in the land is not bringing light out of darkness. I notice the voices in the land is trying to feed the land, is trying to give food to the flesh. And when I say food to the flesh, when you're not feeding one's spirit, you're feeding their flesh. You're giving them what their flesh need to hear. In that natural ear, that itchy ear, that's that flesh. And that's what I'm seeing. And it's okay. It's okay. This too shall pass. And when it pass, it ain't gonna pass on the right side. It's gonna pass on the left side. Okay, so it's gonna pass away in the uttermost darkness. Okay, where the lake where fire and brimstone. But I say unto you, I sit back and I notice that they tend a lot of the so-called prophetess, the so-called prophetess, they tend to feed the world. And what I mean by that, they tend to have the word to the world from Yah. And I'm sure there was a time when Noah went out to inform the people that it's going to rain and the world is going to flood. I'm sure he was not out there telling them the things to feed them in a way that is going to cause them to think seconds and turn. He was pretty much warning them about what's going to happen. Not so much as if you don't do this or this is this. So many things. You get to the point where you hear them talking about so many things that the Most High is going to do to the world and to the country and to so on, to where you really can't see what Yah is doing. You really can't hear from Yah. All you really hearing is an individual really kind of warning the world what Yah is going to do. Now, you got to understand now, how long have Yah been warning? How long has the Most High been warning this world? You think he's at the end and wanting to warn them as if they got a way out? Come on. That's what I say, that you can tell that the true prophet from the fake ones is because one is feeding the spirit and another one is feeding the flesh. And that's a way that a lot of people don't understand, and that's something a lot of people don't know about. They don't know that the Most High, the Creator, His true servants is going to come after your spirit, to where the flesh, those who serve in darkness, that portraying that they're about the spiritual creator, they're gonna serve your flesh. Why? Because your flesh is what yearns for the words to keep coming to it, toward it, as if Yah is begging the world to get it right. Oh no, 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 no. Before the foundation of the world, everything was already right in Yah, in the Most High. We just down here clowning it up and clowning it down. So when I think about the prophetess, and I, Sister Deborah, can speak on that level, because of my purpose that has been invested in me and being ordained and predestined to come into a certain tribe, a certain nation to speak unto, that gives me the same opportunity to go into any and every nation, any and every nationality. I still have the ability to reach, to speak to. And I say unto you, be very cautious to people who have the word from the Creator to the world. As if the Creator do not know where the world is where he knew that they would be. When I speak to the wind, in a sense, knowing that spirit and truth shall be carried to those who have an ear to hear, and that they may hold firm to it. But I got a word for the world. And I constantly keep telling y'all, it's finished. It's over. You ain't gonna have no bridge to cross. I'm not sending word to the world as if the world can fix themselves, or if the world have the ability to get it right, or as the world have the ability to change the prophecies or to change the route of the Father. No, I speak to the world in a way of letting them know that it's over. You're clowning. You're acting a fool. You acting like a circus. You in the circus. Get you some tickets. Okay? So, it's nothing that the Father is giving me to warn them in a way that they're going to get it right. Why would a creator have his servant in a midnight hour as this, like unto no other? It said that this day that we're in is like no other. That means it's not bound to get better. It's going to get worse. But now, come on now, take yourself out of we now. But there are those who call themselves prophetess, and they singing this message of prosperity. Oh, how the Most High is going to make it so well for you, and how things going to start looking up to you. Only way you're going to get that route is when you get to the other side. Trust me, there's another side. The world want to feed it to you. It's called rapture. The world wants to feed it to you. It's meaning that he's coming for them. See, in the midst of all that they are doing and conducting themselves in, yet the world thinks that he's going to rapture them out of the world. Isn't that deep? The level of hate, the level of evil and darkness that's in the heart of men and women, male and female, is off the chain. Why? Because we're in that day. That day is a day of darkness, a day of gloomy and wicked and evil at its highest. People looking for things to get better based on Democrat or Republicans and all of those things. But Sister Deborah come to bring you a word. It's not going to. So you might as well think about crying out to he that has the key to it all, who has the light to all darkness, and who has the power to bring you out in such a midnight hour. I would suggest to any and everyone to not take heed to prophets and prophetess that's on this bandwagon to get subscribers and likes. If you find them that are, and they are falling into the category of the multitude, you must understand anybody that's leading the multitude their way is because they're teaching in the broad gate and from the broad gate. And this is what I just said is very, very powerful. I had no idea I would say that. I had no idea that I would even speak that right now. But I thank him that's greater, that spoke that out of me. Anybody that's gearing to the multitude, and you see that they're hooked under a system, which is that same system I spoke of earlier this morning, and they're booming in the area of likes and subscribers, and they're just getting all these, you bet, you go that route. You're not you're heading, you're already in the broad gate. That's where they're at. They're selling wolf tickets from the broad gate. And people don't understand. That's the way that many go therein. And that's how I see it as a prophetess in the wilderness. I speak to that one, and only that one. And if you knew what that one is, that's that oneness, that one that has one baptism, one Father, one Yah, which the world call God, one power, one anointed, one throne. You know, he's that one Holy Spirit. He's that one word, that oneness, that all that he has brought unto him falls under that oneness. He that has an ear, let him hear what the one that's speaking is speaking to that one. I'm speaking to that one. I don't have the gift nor the ability to speak to the world and its darkness as if the world got a chance to be redeemed. A lot of people don't understand. What would be the purpose? Hear me. He that has an ear, hear me. What would be the purpose for all the parables that you read in your study guide if it's not separating one from the other? He that has an ear, let him hear. What would be the purpose for your study guide to give you some insight on all the parables if they have no place like unto the kingdom? What would be the purpose of the parables constantly separating one from the other? Let me give you one for instance. The tare and the wheat. The tare and the wheat. There's two different kinds. And that's all I'm saying unto you. There are prophetess that's only on these platforms speaking to one or the other. Are you speaking to the wheat or are you speaking to the tare? Let's give you another one. The 10 virgins. Which one are you speaking to, prophetess? Are you speaking to the one that had the lamp and the oil? Or are you speaking to the one that has no oil? Throughout the whole instruction guide, not instruction, study guide, it teaches you how to separate the two. And if there's no two, then how could there be a one? How would you know one is one if there's not a two? You see, there is a one and there is a two. The kingdom set everything up in twos. You either the serpent seed or you the spiritual seed. You either in the dark or you in the light. You either bitter or you sweet. You either walk in the spirit or you walk in the flesh. He's always separate one from the other. So when Sister Deborah is talking about prophetess, you have to be able to separate the two. You have to be able to separate the prophetess that's in the flesh versus the prophetess that's in the spirit. How must you separate them? Let's go to the narrow gate and the broad. That's a good one. How about that? Let's go to the narrow gate and the broad gate. If Sister Deborah is going through the narrow gate with 10, and the other prophetess is going through the broad gate with 100,000, which one is heading to truth, the light, life? It's not the broad gate, because Yah is not allowing no prophetess to usher in the multitude to the narrow gate. Why you all are just lost with the cars and without? Just basic common sense. Everybody go to and fro looking for that soothing of that itchy ear. And what that itchy ear means, you want your flesh satisfied. The last thing you want satisfied on this earth is your flesh. Because you want your spirit to be able to be satisfied in the will of the Father, in the spirit realm, that your flesh should be 100% satisfied, even in its health, in its state of mind, in its ability to hear, in its ability to see. But you have to go through the spiritual route. These individual prophetess are not leading you into no type of light. They are not leading you into no type of spirit and truth, because those things are for your spirit. Sister Deborah only come after the spirit, baby. I know you ain't got nothing in that nasty flesh. So I come to give you a word for the spirit, so that the spirit can get the flesh under subjection to the voice of the Most High that rests therein. But you got all these prophetess catering to the world, and got people following them by great numbers. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's 100% right. Because it's what's right in the broad gate. He broke those up in twos, letting you go. No, he's letting you know. Let me give you an example. I have learned that for a long, long time. In any situation you run up in, don't take the broad gate, and don't take the side of the multitude. Always take the narrow gate, for it is the way. I have found myself, even in this day and time, seeing myself being the only one going into the narrow gate. I've seen that lately, you guys, where the multitude is all going this way, and I find myself going this way. I've been doing it for so long. I know the way is the narrow way. Never is it the broad. That's another example that was left here from the beginning, wanting you all to understand the twos. In my earlier video this morning, it was explaining to you. They really don't know. And the Father that created all things, he's not going to judge you based on what you feel that you know and you know not. He's going to judge you on what he left down here for you to know, whether you know it or you don't. He knows that he got a light in the mist. He knows that he sent his ram in the bush down. So he don't have any problem where people go and take the sides of the mass and the multitude, because he already directed you there. You're not going into the gate, that's the broad gate. You're going into the way that he has directed you, to the way he knew you would. So that's going back to show you they have no sense of spiritual in the way of the Most High creation, and how he rumbles, and how he set everything up in twos. I think about even the parables in their instruction book. They should know by now through all the parables in which way to go. But they can't go in a way that Yah has not assigned them. And that gives me the ability to say it's over. It's finished. Many are satisfied going through the broad gate, getting up in the morning, in the evening, during their break at work, during their evening hours, during dinner time, bedtime, going, listening and flocking to the individual that's speaking only to the world, as if the world can hear Yah through them. Yah wants you to know that he's speaking to, example, the 10 virgins. He's speaking to the virgins that has a light, that has the oil in their lamp. He's speaking to those who are at the narrow gate. He's speaking to those who but are the wheat. He's not speaking to the tare, telling them to come on in with the wheat. He's not telling the other 5 virgins that don't have oil, come on, you can come on in with those who have. Just come on through the door. He's not telling those that's the multitude going through the broad gate, come on, you can go this way. It's the narrow gate. It's the way. He's not sending his servants to coach, to fight with, to turmoil with the world in the way of the narrow gate, in the way of the lamp that has the oil, in the way of in the way of the wheat. He's not sending the way of the wheat. You see, I just said a multitude of words in spirit and truth that feeds the spirit of a man, and it would go over your head 24/24. So when you see all these prophetess, and if you see the prophets schooling the world as if they're trying to pamper and trying to mold the world to follow their word because it's a word that Yah is warning them, no. He has already separated the wheat from the tare. Why would he be out there still hooping and hollering to the tare? It's just like Solomon and Gomorrah. He's telling Abraham, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to destroy Solomon and Gomorrah and all the surrounding cities. And then Abraham said, what if it's this? What if it's this? And you ain't got no room, Abraham. You ain't got no authority, Abraham. You ain't got no space to think that there's something in Solomon and Gomorrah and in the surrounding cities that I don't know that's in there. I'm coming down to destroy. I am about to destroy it. As if Abraham can come up with a reason not to. Come on with me, y'all. Come on with me this morning. Stop thinking that these people, you see them in great numbers, these numbers represent the system paying them cash. That's what these numbers represent. They're not out here trying to feed your spirit with spirit and truth with food for the spirit, nor drink for the spirit. They're here to feed the multitude. Don't get caught out there, which I don't think anyone can, if it's will for you to go through the broad gate, to follow the tare, to go into the areas of those who went to get oil for their lamp. Go, follow it. But it is your way. All those parables were set there because of the tools. He wanted you to know the kingdom is like unto tools. He got 2 books. One's meaning this and one meaning that. He told you about I am the potter, Deborah. I'm the one that designed 2 different kinds. One to go this way and one to go this way. What do you mean, Father Yah? One to go right and one to go left. And Deborah, tell them to tell me, the potter himself, how and what to do what is mine. He have set the pace through his parables of instructions and direction that we may understand through the, not instructions and direction, but through the study guide, that we can even kind of get an insight. And while we in the study guide, then all of a sudden we just tarry, wanting him to come in so he can take it from here. Once the Ruach come in, guess what? The study guide ain't got nothing on what you're gonna learn. Because once that Ruach step in, he's the true teacher of the study guide. And what have they done? The broad gate chose man. They chose the flesh to study and to God. So Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of this. Even if you didn't, my spirit did. And what it got out of it is being able to speak the spirit in truth and give food for the spirit this early morning. And I give him all, the Most High Yah, all glory, all honor, and all praise. And I forever exalt him and magnify him for being all that he is, all that he was, and all that he's going to be. Again, these prophetesses out here, they're feeding the flesh. They're giving food to the multitude. They're feeding those who come through the broad gate, because the broad gate is feeding them through YouTube, giving them, and they're sold, their spirit is sold out to the system, to the broad gate. They don't have no other way. They don't have no other way. And they go that way with their head up in the air, right? Walking through the, you know what makes them so proud that they're going through the broad gate? It's because they're being taken care of financially through the system. And the main thing that makes them so proud is they taking so many with them. And they're proud. Be careful with the prophetess that's of the world. But you can't be careful, because greater is he that lives in us, the true teacher, than he that's on the outside of us. And I, Sister Deborah, come unto you as a prophetess of the Most High Yah, that lives and breathes and learn from the wilderness in which I am taught from. And I'm here to tell you the difference between the prophet of the Spirit of Yah and the prophet of the flesh of man. One seek after the things to please the world. That's why they feed the world, because the world feeds them back by liking and subscribing. So the more they like and subscribe and draw unto them, the more they feel accepted. They feel vindicated. I ain't gonna say vindicated, but they feel righteous. And there is a righteous on the earth. It's the righteous of the flesh that has no righteous spiritual connection with the righteous of the Father. There's two. Whenever you can measure things in two and make a choice out of those two, which way you rumble, then you know your way home back to the Father. But if you can't be able to tell which one you're going to rumble with, and you don't have no idea of the twos, and you don't choose the way of the narrow, go on into the broad and get comfortable. Take a seat, kick your legs up, and have a wang dang doodle time following the world. I, Sister Deborah, says I hope you got something out of it. Shalom and shalom.